You know what I've noticed after years of testing crypto platforms? The ones that actually work don't need much selling. They just do what they say they do consistently, and the results speak for themselves. And that observation has basically become the entire lens through which I evaluate anything in this space now. Not what the platform claims up front, but what it demonstrates over time under real conditions. So what I've got in front of me today is something I've been quietly running for about 7 weeks. And the reason I kept going back to it session after session without hesitation is basically the point of this video. Today, I'm just going to open everything up and run it on my actual account. You're going to see exactly what I see as it happens. Then at the end, I want to get into something I consider equally important: how to operate safely in this environment. Okay, let's get into it. So, one thing I want to mention before we navigate anywhere.
When I pick up a new platform, I don't just test it from one device. I run it from whatever I happen to have in front of me day to day. Phone, tablet, laptop, across all three of them. With this one, the experience didn't change. And that matters because the platforms that aren't built properly almost always show cracks on mobile first. The layout breaks, features go missing, something feels off. None of that happened here, and I think that tells you something real about the quality of the build. All right, so clicking launch right here, and there's my dashboard. Session setup, live data, all the controls I need during a run are right here on one screen without anything buried or hard to find. So first thing, I need to select a token. I choose USDC. And I actually want to spend a moment on this. This platform supports 10 plus different assets. And what that translates to in real use is simple. I never have to compromise on which token I work with. I just pick whatever aligns best with where my holdings currently sit. Token is in, moving over to the power configuration.
So this is where I'm defining the intensity of the session, the overall operational load across the run, and the reason this warrants actual thought rather than just clicking through it is that whatever I configure here feeds directly into the fee percentage at the end. So it's a genuine cost efficiency decision. All right, pressing start. Good, session is launched. Console is running right here and shows me all the stats that I always keep visible during a run because it gives me a granular view of what the system is actually doing rather than just showing me a progress bar. So gonna let this run for about a few minutes and then I'll take you through the next process step by step. Okay, pop-up is here, session is done, and here's the exact output. That's what came out.
So to get these moved out, first thing is entering my receiving address. Confirmed. Next is the infrastructure covering. And that's the platform's charge, calculated from my configuration and the total runtime. What I find clean about this is that there's no guesswork. The fee is entirely determined by inputs I set myself before the session started. And worth pointing out, I can cover this with any asset I want, just whatever makes the most practical sense for me. Okay, pressing confirm right here, and now I wait a few minutes. So while that's processing, I want to quickly cover what cloud mining is for anyone who isn't already familiar, because understanding the model makes the safety conversation more concrete and more useful. So the whole idea is built around remote infrastructure. There are professional data centers out there running industrial-grade mining hardware at scale, and what this platform does is essentially connect people to that existing computing power. A session gets configured, the infrastructure does the computational heavy lifting on the data center side, and the mined output routes directly to whatever wallet address is specified.
No physical hardware involved, no electricity costs, no maintenance cycles. The operational complexity lives entirely on the infrastructure side, and what reaches the end user is just the result. And because accessing that looks so simple from the user side, this space has always pulled in projects built entirely on the appearance of that model with nothing real underneath it. So a few important things that are now just baked into how I look at anything new. First thing, I test functionality under real conditions. I don't just check whether a feature exists, I check whether it actually performs consistently every time I interact with it. Because a lot of platforms will show you something that works once and then quietly breaks under repeated use, and that pattern tells you a lot about the stability of what's running underneath. The second rule I follow, without exception, get your funds into a wallet where you hold the private keys and make that the first thing you do after every session, not the last. Not when something feels wrong, not eventually, automatically, every single time from day one. That discipline has removed more risk from my workflow than any other single habit.
Okay, so last thing. After 7 weeks on this platform across different configurations and run durations, the picture I built up is straightforward. Every session performed the way the platform described it would. Every withdrawal processed cleanly and landed where it was supposed to, and at no point across any of those runs did something happen that made me stop and reconsider what I was working with. And I've been around long enough to know that that kind of unbroken track record across that volume of sessions isn't something you stumble into. It means the infrastructure behind this thing is genuinely solid. That's where I land after inside it. Link is in the description and pinned in the comments. Thanks for your time.